Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're excited for the best burn deck in Modern. And no, it's not playing Lava Spike. Instead, we want to do all our damage and once. Calibrated Blast is a archetype that's been around since Modern Horizons 2, and in fact, wrote a guide of it back in that day and came up with the 75 that ended up being pretty successful back when Yorion was dominating the meta. So it's an old favorite of mine, but if you're not familiar, Calibrated Blast reveals cards on the top of your deck until you see a non-land card and deals damage equal to its CMC to any target. Has flashback, throws a Chaos X as a 5th copy, because the Cascade will hit blast, and you can retrace it. Playing a lot of lands, obviously we're at 37. I have them split up here. Here are our fetch lands and every card that they can fetch. Over here are our non-fetch lands. A couple sub-themes here. One, we have deserts, which do damage. These and the eroded canyons, and then random map can throw them. Gemstones and Ugin's Labyrinths let us cheat on mana. We can even get a turn 1 Calibrated Blast, and then we have the legendary discard lands, which have some flexibility, interaction, and damage here. Our fetch lands are set up such that with any two of them, we can get a turn 2 Scion. So, Andatha Triome pairs with Steam Vents or Thundering Falls, and then Rafine's Tower pairs with the Stomping Ground, and all of them could be fetched with any of our 8 fetch lands. So, if you have 2 Arid Mesas, you can get Tower plus Stomping Ground, or you can get Triumph plus, Triumph plus Steam Vents. Any combination, which is nice. Sometimes we do actually smash in with Scion to finish off with 1 Calibrated Blast. And obviously it's not too bad of a hit-off blast. It still does 12 damage, but ideally we're hitting one of our 15 drops. Scions, Devourers, and Emrakul's all exile to Ugin's Lab. Devourers helps us hit one of our 5 win cons in our starting hand. We mulligan quite a bit, but it mulligans pretty well. Sideboard, I like the all-land sideboard. There are some variations of like Crime and Punishments, Ley Lines, Rough and Tumbles. Consigned to Memory was one that was played a while. But I find anytime I board them in, the inconsistency of blasts ends up hurting me more than the upside of those cards most of the time. The one caveat was when like Hammer was the top deck, I found Crime and Punishment to be worth it, because a lot of times casting that would actually completely just win the game. But obviously Nephalia Academy's coming against discard, Scavenger Grounds coming in against opposing graveyard decks. Notably, it does exile our graveyard. The extra mountain I found to be necessary. I just tested it in a league because of the hate for our other favorite deck, Belcher. There's a lot of White Orchid Phantoms and Cleansing Fires out there, as well as Boseijus. Boseijus, we have more, obviously, fetchable cards, too, but specifically having the 3rd basic in the side I like. I have the 2nd Otawara. This is for things that, like, Boseiju can't hit, so, like, there's a new creature that can absorb a Calibrated Blast that we'd like to bounce, or Planeswalkers occasionally. Something like a Teferi can turn off Throes of Chaos. It's just a flexible card. And again, a lot of times if we win the first game, we're taking out our 4 Caverns no matter what. And then against decks where Academy and Scavenger Grounds don't really have decks and we don't want the Boseijus, sometimes just bringing in some extra interaction works. Obviously, this Boseiju is for counterspell decks, so that's our plan. We're gonna jump in for a game. I'm just making sure that the deck's submitted correctly. Cancel. My deck submitted with Wooded Foothills. Can I drop and get back? I don't know if I can. I think it might be too late. Whatever. I think I submitted a list that has the wrong fetch lands and Triumph, but I'll export the correct one for the link, and we'll see if it ends up hurting us. It shouldn't. There's some corner cases where you have to have both. It's like if you have a Scion in your hand plus a Rafine's Tower, and if I have the like Wooded Foothills that can't fetch, or the reverse, I have the Andatha in my hand and I can't fetch the Rafine in the other one or something, or against mill. I don't know. Shouldn't come up. Again, we're going to be mulliganing aggressively. This hand is a mull. Another easy mull. This is a good keep. Because we don't want our 15 drops. Cancel. I forgot. I have Ugin's Lab. Tuck this and this. We have to caverns in order to have a red source. So we do need to draw a land, but because of Ugin's Lab, we get the turn 1 blast. So pretty good one. Obviously, if our opponent happens to be playing discard, I thought Thoughtseize will be sad, but then we just need to top deck a couple lands with, again, our deck has 35 other lands. We're pretty likely to draw some to then flashback this blast, assuming they don't do 4 damage to themselves, which seems unlikely. One thing I've noticed, the addition of the surveil lands and, oh, well, I could just, like a professional, draw a second Calibrated Blast. I don't think there's any reason, are they playing Force Negation? I mean, this usually means they're kind of all-in combo. I think this is the Grinding Station deck. Don't think there's really a reason to wait. Just, I usually look over here and just read what I revealed. Sometimes it's confusing. Could do this, I guess. So we're doing 15 damage. It doesn't tell you the damage until you've picked a target. And one thing to note, you don't pick the target until after you revealed a card, which in paper is more relevant. But see, now it tells me it's 15 damage. It is a triggered ability. It can be consigned to memory, which is a downside, but we're very likely to kill with this blast. There's a slight chance we hit one of our other 2 blasts, but even hitting the Throes of Chaos will kill them. I guess they should have just, if they could have had another green source, they could have besaged this Ugin's Lab, but their Rumble revealed some lands and a Tamio. They probably take the Shifting Wildwood. Because they can Wildwood the Breach. Next turn, they took, Shifting Wildwood. They need a forest, though. Ugin's Lab, interesting. Let's not hit Calibrated Blast. We hit Emrakul, yay! Look at that. We just did 30 damage by turn 2. If that doesn't sell you on the deck, I don't know what will. If you like playing burn, you get to really burn with this deck. We get to keep in the gemstones because we're going to be on the draw. I guess against their deck, we might want Scavenging Grounds. Maybe the Boseiju. Otawara is probably just too slow pretty much all the time. Sokuzan might actually get in. Sunsoak could be relevant, but if we want to bring these all in, we want to cut some number of these. Can't have too many colorless sources. We're keeping in the let's do that. 2 Scavenger Grounds and an extra Boseiju. Guess I'd rather have a Scavenger Grounds than Boseiju most of the time. We'll see. I don't think I haven't actually played against this. Sorry, I'll move this off the screen. I'm gonna go look. I haven't played against this deck, even though it's supposedly a really popular deck. They do play Consign to Memory and Cyber. Okay, so maybe we're gonna want to bring in. Oh, sorry. That's one thing about Consign. Annoyingly, is that the Boseiju doesn't. It makes the spell uncounterable. It doesn't make the trigger uncounterable. So it doesn't actually protect against that. This would be a really good hand with these cards again, and just need a blast, but we'll go to 5. Still no blast, still have the Emrakul in the caverns. They like to be in our hands. We'll go to 4. Probably have to keep it 4. Well, we had a blast anyway. Random maps are a little awkward, so we're not gonna keep the Scions because we don't have any fetch land. We'll keep the Devour for 2 reasons. 1, the trigger's nice, and 2, we want less Devourers in the deck for our Calibrated Blast to hit. Cancel. I'm not trying to cast the card. I'm trying to yield through the turn. So I might bring in Consign. They does Veil work? No, it's just blue and black. Force negations and mystical disputes. Disputes don't really work, so they probably bring in Force and Consign against us. Interesting. It's an interesting 4. I kind of want a third land and the blast, but because we're more likely to draw lands, I'll take the blast. 2 blasts are what we're going to need to kill him. And yeah, we're very likely to draw a land in the next 2 turns. Opponent surveilling. Little slower this game. If our opponent bought in a bunch of interaction, they might be slower. We'll see. I assume they take the Emery. Nope, they took the Moxamber. So they might already have. I don't need to keep that. They already played it. Gemstone. Have an awkward one. And we might be dead this turn. That bodes well. Tamio turns on the Moxamber. They now have 3 more mana. Okay. Well, we're going to pass. Not let them interact on our turn. We'll try to blast on their turn. Because there's a slight chance we end up blasting this Tamio. They seem to have a lot of mana, though. Doesn't seem to be their choke point. They already got the trigger. I think we'll go to end step. If we happen to blast and only hit 3, then we'll hit the Tamio, or 4 probably. Obviously 15 we just kill them, assuming it resolves. It might not resolve. So 3 cards in hand, obviously plenty of mana. Hit the One Ring, Spring Leaf, and Baubles to target. So we'll take a damage. We'll cast it. See what they got. They got a negate. Haven't seen that guy in a while. Okay. Our turn, see if they're one of their other 2 cards is also. I guess I should have done it before. Hey, Ugin Slab. With that, we'll go ahead and flashback. Just because I get to keep the one in my hand and I'm fine paying 2 more life, honestly. It doesn't really matter in this matchup. We revealed Calibrated Blast. What a bummer. I guess I think we're just gonna kill the Emery. That is unfortunate, but it is what it is. That also means that blast goes on the bottom of our deck. Luckily, we have a second blast. They're down to 2 cards in hand, and neither of them are counter magic. They kept. Nope, they put a Scalding Tarn in their graveyard. One Ring. Not too concerned about that. We can do this on their upkeep, but they get to draw 3 more cards before we try to cast, so it seems unlikely that it will resolve. They're also digging with a Rumble. They got a Breach. Mana Leak and Negate. What is our... What counter magic are you playing, opponent? I am very confused. Not our upkeep. They're still protected. Okay. Desert. Can't hit him. 6. I am 1 mana away from Devour. But he's a little slow. So I think we just pass and hope to kill him in his upkeep, because otherwise I think he just goes off. He has to find what? A Shifting Wildwood, or what did he pick again? He has a Breach. Oh yeah, he put one in the graveyard, but he has a Breach. So we'll go for it. They'll activate this in response. Nope, they didn't activate it. Interesting. They could have drawn a counterspell, but we just drew Revealed Emrakul for 15 damage. Oh, Consign trigger is after. That's what he has. Never mind. No fun. Consign's no fun at all. It's good against every deck I want to play. I don't know why I bothered flipping that, but we know they have Breach as one of their 4 cards. I'm not sure why they're not just trying to go off at this point. Guess I need a grinding station, maybe? Is that the one thing they're missing? No. I was gonna say, won't they just find it? 1, 2, 3. Do you need a fetch first? Like going for... Oh, an Emery, okay. I was like, why not? They might just be casting another One Ring, but... Because we can flash this back. But I don't know what they drew. We still have 2 potential mana open. Maybe they'll cast another Negate. Another Melvin Rumble hits. Some good ones. They picked the Wild Wind. The Woodland. And then they got an island. I still could sign with this up, so maybe they're just holding consign for a flashback. We do have to hit pretty good on it. Oh no, they can pick a consign here. Took the bauble, so they must already have one. We'll have to hit a Scion or better, so our Devourers won't kill them. We know one of our blasts is on the bottom, so we're very unlikely to hit that. We've exiled 1 Shadow. So we have a 3-drop, a 4-drop, then we have 2 more Devourers that are not lethal versus our 4 Scion. We know 1 Emrakul is on the bottom as well, so 4 Scion, 3 Emrakul, 2 Worm, and 3 Shadows. Being said, our opponent still has a mana open with that Springleaf Drum, and is going to draw some cards on our upkeep. We'll just flash back before they draw cards off Bauble. Hope they didn't keep a counter spell. They're just going to keep doing Bauble, I guess. You have to have it in the 3 cards you have now. I'm not going to let you draw cards. Guess they just want to draw as many as possible, which is fine, before they lose this Underworld Breach. Our opponent's already down to 17 cards. They've very effectively seen a lot of their deck. Just not the grinding stations. They probably went down to like 1 or 2 after sideboard. Did you keep a... It's gotta be what? Exactly consign? Oh no, they have a spawn token. It could be another. We hit a Devourer. Oh well. It's a bummer. Oh, they could have consign still. They don't have to consign because it only did 7 damage. I guess, I mean, I could have hit Emery again or this. I don't know. Didn't seem worth it. Put him down to 4. I assume we're just dead. Shoot. Oh well. I have exiled 27 cards. This puts them to 2. So close. Why do we have to hit one of our 2 remaining Devourers? So they only have 7 cards left in their deck. We assume they have the win here. Unless they just sideboarded out of their combo. They just rumbled again. There's a Thassa's Oracle. There we go. Yeah, we'll just concede there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It technically is already lethal. Okay. We will bring in Besagers because we saw mana leaks and negates. We get to take out our caverns, which is a pretty easy switch. The main question is Ottawa worth it? I don't think bouncing that Tamio is really worth it, or Emery. Seiju, I can hit like an Underworld Breach. I think that we'll just leave it as is. Maybe we should take out Throws because it can just get consigned. This might be an interesting hand. Turn 2 Scion, turn 3 Scion, and like just hope to smash. Problem is it's pretty slow. It still doesn't beat Consign. That's the other downside. Look at that. Even our alt win con like loses to Consign. Yeah, I think that's there are like more typical counterspell decks. I might keep this. But because they also have a combo finish, I don't think I'm willing to risk it. Sad. If I had a fetch land for the turn 2 Scion, I'd keep and tuck the Emrakul, but because I don't have that, the Throws is just too slow. This will be our keep. Definitely don't want Shadow, don't need a second Beseiju. We will, the question is what do we lead on here? It's hard because of Ugin's Lab, we could turn 2 Blast into anything except a Beseiju, or anything except a Consign. But he plays a lot of tap lands turn 1. So the question is, do I want to set up Beseiju, which still doesn't beat Consign, or I want to set up for the turn 2. And I'll go ahead and Surveil as well. He's got a Bobble, target himself. Fetch, hopefully a Surveillance. Sweet. Okay, that's what I was hoping would happen. That's how he's let off other games. So we can get any red source here. I'll go with the Commercial District over Thundering Falls. Because I have Beseiju in and not Ottawa. I said yield and it's still not yielding. Interesting. This means we could cast the Scion. So I think I'll keep top. Also, if I graveyard it, I have the off chance of my next draw being a 15 that I want to leave on top of my deck. So we got a lab here. Oh, I forgot I'm tucking the Scion under this. Well, c'est la vie. They could have force and negation, obviously, but I'd rather this piece force. But of course, I revealed another blast. We are just 3 manaing against this opponent. Our first game looked much better. Okay. We get to Guess I'll just Beseiju next turn. And then fetch a red source, and we can cast this uncounterable. Or we just draw that. Making this uncounterable doesn't really help, but it does go through our deck pretty quick. Leaving one blue open feels more like Consign, which he could just consign the Cascade trigger. I'm gonna play the Beseiju. Set up for uncounterable blast from the graveyard first. Which he can consign the trigger on that, but then I can throws. Which I can just keep recasting unless it gets forced, but we can stop it from getting forced, so. As an Emery. Yeah, they're grinding station. That's not ideal. Beseiju is an interesting draw. Okay, another mountain. I think I'm going to force him to use mana on his turn. He left up 2 mana. We'll do an uncounterable blast on their turn that will likely just get consigned. Some precedent for just holding up that. We did hit a worm, so let's see. If in some magical Crystal Slam where this didn't get consigned, we would kill him with it, but it did. I mean, we kind of knew they had a consign, right? But I like using that one first, and then we can throws. I gotta get the grinding station. Yeah, no, get the bubble first. They know our top card. They rumbled. Got another Emery. It's interesting to go for the, what's it called? Hearted Canyon. Breach there. I guess I'll go for Canyon. Probably 14 isn't really relevant. I assume this is consigned, but they did leave up 2 mana. I'll go ahead and pay the 2 life. Don't really think I'm ever dying to life here. I can't leave up Beseiju anyway. Revealed 2 Emeralds in that. So they're forcing the blast because they couldn't force the throw. So I think it was definitely right to make it uncounterable. We can retrace it next turn. Means we're down to 2 blasts left. Well, they pitched. They pitched the Emery. I wonder if that's why they took the Emery with the Rumble, just to pitch with a force. Opponent again has plenty of mana. Emery can buy back. They have the breach, so we might be dead. Trying to figure out the math. 1, 2, 2, 3. So they play the bobble. They sack it to mill 3. Then they just do this. So they have the ability to mill through their entire deck, but so that means they have to have Thoracle, right? Already in hand? Which they might have. If they could just show me Thoracle, I guess I'd just concede at this point, but I don't know for sure if they do. I don't. Oh, they can just recast it from the graveyard with Underworld Breach. Sorry. Again, I haven't actually faced this deck. But yeah, Thoracle will have Escape as well. And they'll have plenty of cards in the graveyard. Got it. Makes sense. Cool. Well, this throws would have hit this blast. And let's just see if that blast would have been... No, it wouldn't have been lethal anyway, so... At least we didn't die to our own deck. Let's see if we can have better luck in the next match. It was fun to see it work really well in game 1, obviously. Don't think we had misplays there, just got unlucky. Mostly in game 2. Right, is the one where we could have hit. Oh no, did it still get... We didn't know whether or not they could have consigned the one that did 7 damage. But consigned to memory, it remains very effective against us. Who is my opponent? Who will hopefully get blasted? Elephant 247. Mulligan. Also Mulligan. This is a keep. We obviously don't want Worm. The other card... This might be tempting to get rid of Scion here, but we are very likely to draw a 4th land, and by keeping Scion, we keep our Ugin's Labyrinths live. Obviously, we're not anywhere close to casting him at this point, but I think we'll lead on this. Could be a mirror match. It's more likely our opponent is playing Eldrazi of some sort. Versus Incubator. So like a really dedicated Eldrazi ramp deck. I've not seen this card used. Talisman might be the Breach version still, but it seems unlikely it's Breach with this Incubator. We got the Mesa. One question is like which Triome to fetch. We're not like more likely to draw into one more than the other. Oh wow, they got the turn 2 5 mana play. Is it a turn 2 Breach? Smasher. No, did not expect to face a Reality Smasher today. I'll grab the Indatha. Just because it's full art, I guess. Unlucky draw. Put him to 19. He still costs what? 4, so we can't Scion. Awkward to draw one of our 15 drops here, but our hope is to draw a land, throws, draw another land, throws again, and not be dead. Can we do that? No. Yeah. We can take one more hit. Unless Myco Spawn. Of course. It's a kicked Myco Spawn. I guess our only out is to draw an Ugin Lab at this point. And hope he doesn't have a Myco Spawn. Yeah. Yep, not that. Okay. So a slight chance our opponent doesn't know what we're doing. But like I said, this was around a bit. We're going to be on the play, so we definitely want to side out at least 3 caverns. I think we'll bring in a Boseiju. I guess the auto water is fine. But we're not really discarding card. I'll just bring in the basic mountain, I suppose. I think Scavenging Grounds or Boseiju Shelters all are going to have any text, so. Look at that hand. Double Mortality, double Emrakul. Mulligan. This one's interesting. It gets to see the top 8/9 cards for WinCon, right? Though we don't get to activate this. I was thinking we could. We have Ugin's Lab. Talk the Emrakul because we want to hit that. I guess we can also just turn to this. Maybe that's better than the Ugin's Lab plan. See what we draw. This is our turn 1 play either way. This isn't terribly great against them because, you know, of Smasher and stuff, but it can block Eldrazi Spawn and trade with Thought-Knot Seer, so Worldbreaker is not great against us. Or not great for us, rather. Oh man, I almost said the only thing this doesn't do is it doesn't set me up for a turn 2 blast if I happen to draw it. So yeah, we won't go for activating Ugin's Lab. Which do I have out? Spara, so I need the not Stomping Ground. Oh, it happened because I submitted the wrong deck list. I can't sign on here. So this in the real deck list is the what is it? Rafine's Tower, right? that goes with Stomping Ground, and then a Doth that goes with Steep Red. So there you go. I don't have Blood Crypt in because I switched and then didn't switch my didn't switch this out. Awkward. I guess I just get any red source then. I'll go ahead and get the Thundering Commercial. Doesn't really make any difference. Never mind. Well, I don't really want to draw this. I wish I could keep it top for a blast, but that's not how that works. Just want to draw any land, really. They missed on their second Ugins Lab. That's better for us. Oh, I assume they take the blast. But we can still just throws next turn, I guess. Since we're not casting a Scion on time, thanks to our wrong deck list. I'm not sure. I think it used to be if you hadn't played any games and you drop, you get back whatever you spent. But I was nervous to just lose it because I didn't want it to go through and interrupt the video. I think that was the right choice by opponent. It's harder. We need a second red source because, oh my gosh, we're just hitting all our 15 drops. Well, hello. There it goes. Unfortunate to hit another 15 drop. I don't really see a reason to wait. Hit Shadow Mortality. So we still hit them for... We dome them for 15. Where are my reveal cards? I revealed 8 lands. Oh, these were revealed when they looked at our hand. We had 3 lands. And then Shadow. So those are on the bottom. Random order. Any fetch. Not any fetch because Endotha Triome. Oh, I just need a red source. Should kill them. It's not guaranteed. We got the red source. Go get a mountain. We'll give her the old flashback. Like to flash it back. We hit the Devour for lethal. Yay. So we have to go to game 3. Game 3, I will take back out some of these legendaries. Put back in our gemstones. What else did I bring in? The extra mountain, I guess. We'll cut. I think we'll just cut the Otawara. I don't think there's anything we're going to want it for. I'd rather have the red source than a blue source. Red versus blue. Great show back in the day. I'm sure probably still around. I watched it back when it only had like 2 seasons on YouTube. I think they got their own website. I'm very old. I'm like 80. Well, this hand could turn to Scion. Nope, because I don't have Rafine Sovereign. Anyways, I guess I could get Thundering and Dotha, but we don't just want to turn to Scion. I like Devour plus Ugins Lab. Throws is a little weak, but we get to tuck the Emrakul. I think we keep. So it's decent on average, and it lets us dig, which we like. Obviously, if they get to Thought on us, you know, Ugins Lab plus Talisman plus land gets a turn 2. That is unfortunate. They, of course, have their Vexing Bubble, which turns off throws. It doesn't turn off regular old. Wow, this is a unfortunate 4. I don't think we want any of these. guess we can Besage it. Worst case scenario. I'm not sure if I want this to get a red. I think I want this to go get a red-green source, so we can deal with this. But I could just get a Triome and hope to draw another fetch. We didn't really, other than losing some 15 drops, we didn't lose much in our exile here. So I could, go get Indatha, Triome, play Sokenzan, Boseiju this bubble. They likely have another, basic, so it kind of ramps them, which I'm not a huge fan of, but then we can untap and do throws the following turn. But if we draw another fetch, yeah, I think I just go for Scion here. Scion ideally starts hitting them, and maybe they just pop this. Okay, my mouse needs to stop dancing around so I don't accidentally click something I don't want to click. Having a threat with flying is pretty good against them. At this point, if they pawn on us, I assume they still take this. Maybe not. The thing is, this says it counters it, so we'll still put a Calibrated Blast in our graveyard that we can flash back for 5 mana, which will be at the following turn. So I'm not even sure we need to waste a turn Besiegeing. Let's attack first, I guess, and see what they do. If I Besiegew next turn, I can throws. If I throws now, next turn I just play Sokenzan and flash it back. I think that's just worth it. That's a good spin. With Scion, assuming it doesn't get removed by something, we can put them to 11, Sunscorch 10, but that doesn't really matter. It just means any Scion or 15 drop is lethal, but it won't make our Devourers lethal, which we still have. Just put a bunch of cards on the bottom. Let's look at our probability here. We did put 2 Devourers on the bottom, as well as 2 Emrakuls and a Shadow. Oh no, they hit our land. That's unfortunate. I guess to this exact play, I could have responded by Besiegeing. Could I untapped and throws? No, but look at that. Look at that. Guess let's blast first. See what happens. Oh man, look at all those cards we had to go through to hit that worm. I would like to target you, por favor. No consign in the colorless in the Eldrazi ramp deck. Well, we got there. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed those first matches. I'll try to record the following 3. I wish you can sort by what? Rarity, maybe? There you go. Mana value is a bad sort when you play so many lands. That doesn't help a whole lot either. We have mostly rares. Color? No, they're all colorless. Anyway, hope you enjoy. It is a bit of a ridiculous strategy, but I like it. There you go. That looks a lot better. Enjoying this obviously, this one that I'm showing you has the correct fetches and the Rafine's Tower plus Endotha, which can both, because this is black and white, it can be hit by Mesa and Meyer, and this is also black and white, so it gets hit by both. And then obviously they're both fetches are all red, so they can hit our mountains and our duels as well. So yeah, play the one I exported and linked, not what I got stuck playing in the league. But although it kind of hurt us from not being able to cast Ion that one game, I don't think it actually lost us that game. I'm also considering going up to a third worm, just having more 15s in the deck. And going down to the throws was a calculated risk. I think with the Devourer allows us to be a little more risky. The whole point of playing the 2 throws was just like mulliganing to only 4 win cons was loose sometimes. And sometimes the retrace is very valuable, but I'm liking this so far, and the concentration here is good so far. There is also, we might see the eroded canyons. Maybe they become random maps because we want more untapped. Because with the 2 surveil lands and canyons and triomes, we're up to what 2, 4, 6 tapped lands. And like you saw, we often have to mulligan pretty low. So even though we're very likely to draw lands, we often are counting on the lands we draw to be untapped. So something to consider. And then obviously the Besejus are tapped as well when we bring them in. But in those matchups, we typically have a little more time. Not against that grinding station one, but we still did pretty good. Hope you have a fantastic life.